Previously, Dohun tracked the destination of the black car. It had stopped at a building that had been abandoned for years, even though it was still occupied just a few days earlier. Dohun entered the building to investigate and found Taegu's hideout inside the country. A group of thugs suddenly surrounded him, but even together, none of them were a match for Dohun. He defeated them easily. Inside Taegu's room, Dohun discovered files about Director Oh and himself. He also realized that even his own family was being monitored. Just then, Dohun received a call from his younger brother saying his daughter hadn't come home on time. In a panic, Dohun rushed out to search for her. He contacted Director Oh, told her to handle the aftermath, and briefly explained the situation. The thugs weren't Taegu's people. They were also searching for her. Director Oh arrived and began interrogating the captured thug. He repeatedly insisted he was just being paid to do a job. Director Oh shot him twice in the leg, then aimed a third shot at his mouth. Terrified, the thug finally confessed everything. At that moment, Director Oh's phone rang. It was Yura calling. She asked why Director Oh was there and where Taegu was. Director Oh looked around and noticed a fully armed Yura lying in wait on the rooftop across the street. Director Oh mocked her, calling her a contradictory woman, someone who wanted to abandon her past yet still picked up a gun to kill. She warned Yura that even if she killed Taegu, nothing would end. There would always be more people ordering her around. The moment she joined the alliance, she could never put down the gun. But Yura wasn't intimidated. She was ready to fight to the death, to kill anyone who came for her until everything truly ended. But ending things was never easy. Years ago, Yura endured unbearably harsh training at the Alliance base while being subjected to brainwashing patriotic education. She once believed she would become a warrior who protected her country. Instead, she was abandoned by the Alliance and met a tragic fate. After escaping through the snow, she wandered into a small town in Thailand. Wearing tattered clothes and barefoot, she limped down the road as passers-by stared at her. She kept walking until she reached a house. Seeing food on the table, she wolfed it down desperately. Then she heard the door open. The couple who lived there had returned. They followed the muddy footprints and found Yura hiding inside the wardrobe. She pointed a gun at them, full of fear, but her strength gave out, and she fainted into their arms. Seeing how pitiful she was, the couple took her in. Yura stayed in Thailand, finally living a peaceful life where she could eat properly every day. At first, she couldn't speak Thai, so she began teaching herself the language. She once left a thank you note on the back of a meal receipt. The woman was moved and hugged her tightly. Yura came to treat the couple as her parents. The three of them lived happily together. But as Yura grew up, good days didn't last. Suspicious men began appearing at the market asking about her. Yura grew anxious. One night when she returned home, she saw the long-lost Taegu, now a woman. Two strong men Taegu brought with her were carrying two bodies out of the house. Yura hid behind a wall, trembling, unable to make a sound. Her happiness ended at that moment. Back to the present, Dohun stopped wasting time with Yura and told her directly. Taegu wasn't there, and more importantly, Yura's daughter had lost contact. Hearing this, Yura panicked and immediately set off to find her. Dohun checked the CCTV footage outside the school gate and found the same black car had taken his daughter. Soon, he and Yura met up and began searching together. On the road, Taegu sent Yura a message. If she wanted to save her daughter, she had to finish the mission first. It was blatant blackmail. Yura became even more distressed and fearful. Taegu was driving with the girl. She woke up midway and said she needed the bathroom, so Taegu stopped at the nearest place. While she was helping the girl, someone behind the scenes repeatedly urged her to complete the assassination as planned. This person was extremely mysterious, always sitting in the car, never revealing his face. Not long ago, when he sensed that Taegu was becoming distracted, he even sent a subordinate to spy on her. After giving Taegu her orders, the mysterious boss made another call. He said that the bullet-style killing method had resurfaced, so they suspected Bullet might still be alive. They wanted to conduct a major purge to eliminate everyone involved. They had ordered Taegu to kill Butterfly just to confirm whether Bullet was still alive. Now they concluded Bullet was most likely dead, and the person imitating him was probably his protege, number 27. The caller urged the boss to hurry and complete the purge so he could return to the country. Meanwhile, Director O captured the mysterious man's subordinate and interrogated him. He refused to talk, but Director O wasn't worried. If she waited long enough, someone would show up. She noticed the subordinate anxiously checking the time. The closer it got to 10 p.m., the more nervous he became. Right at 10 p.m., the phone he had hidden rang. Director O answered. The caller immediately mentioned both Yura's and Director O's names. Director O calmly revealed her identity and suggested they meet. At the same time, Chun Sol-yeon was still tracking Taegu's phone signal. Yura and Do-hoon followed the route. First stop, a gas station, then a restaurant, then a photo booth. The couple was confused. The path made no sense. But the truth was simple. After using the bathroom at the gas station, the girl got hungry, so Taegu took her to eat. Then she insisted on taking photo stickers, which created the strange route. Taegu eventually brought the girl to a villa. The girl was excited by everything, running, exploring, playing endlessly. She even dragged Taegu to play with her. Taegu wanted to be left alone, but he always ended up giving in and playing along. After dark, the two of them sat by the fire in the yard. When the girl got hungry again, Taegu, now well-trained from caring for her, went inside to prepare food. While she was alone, Yura and Dohun arrived at the villa. They saw their daughter outside. Just then, Taegu returned with bags of snacks and saw them. Yura took the girl away. Dohun stepped forward and struck Taegu to the ground, warning him never to go near his family again. Taegu's expression was a mixture of despair and coldness. He asked Dohun whether family also included Yura, number 27. Dohun didn't answer. Instead, he told Taegu the truth. He was nothing more than a puppet of the alliance. They had treated him as a disposable pawn, and now they wanted him dead. After rescuing their daughter, the couple took her to Dohun's brother's house, then drove home. In the car, Yura quietly looked at Dohun's back, remembering their happy past. They had met in Thailand, fallen in love, and built a peaceful family together. But that peace had been shattered. When they got home, Dohun sensed something was wrong. Someone was lying in ambush. Suddenly, an attacker charged out. Dohun subdued him, and behind him, Yura blocked a knife meant to stab Dohun. The days of the couple fighting side by side had finally begun again. The couple worked together and quickly subdued the two assassins. Just then, Dohun's father unexpectedly returned early from his trip. Panicking, Dohun dragged the unconscious assassins into the bedroom while Yura opened the door for his father. Dohun cleaned up the mess as best he could, tied up the assassins, and urgently called Seolyeon and the others for help. Seeing the house in chaos, his father thought the couple had been fighting. After much effort, they finally coaxed him back to bed. Once he fell asleep, Dohun and Seolyeon quietly moved the assassins out. Seolyeon noticed the MGD emblem on both of them. The next day, Yura went to confront Taegu with a gun. She didn't intend to kill him. She wanted to force him to reveal where Taiel was. Taegu, pessimistic and resigned, told her Taiel wasn't the true mastermind. All of their fates were controlled by the alliance. They had no choice but to follow orders. But Yura still wanted to fight for her family, even at the cost of her life. At that moment, Taegu's phone rang. Yura checked the message. Taegu's next mission had already been assigned. This time,
The target was Fang. The message triggered Taegu's memory. Years ago, he and Alliance operatives went to Thailand to find Yura. His teammates interrogated her adoptive parents. Because they refused to reveal her whereabouts, they killed them without authorization. Taegu realized it was too late to stop them and could only order his men to dispose of the bodies.
Meanwhile, Seol Yun's ex-wife, Sen-won, had captured another pair of assassins. They refused to speak. However, Sen-won sensed they were not Taegu's people. The order to kill Yura and Do-hoon likely came from someone else. At the same time, the mysterious man inside the car was reporting upward. Taiel was about to return to the country. His power was enormous, and once he arrived, he would immediately be placed under strict protection. Elsewhere, Director O waited to meet this mysterious superior. It turned out he was actually her direct senior officer. To prepare, Director O arranged 2 snipers, operatives outside the organization's control, to hide on nearby rooftops. Taegu, knowing about the planned assassination of Fang, arrived as well. Yura followed him and took position on a nearby rooftop. Soon, the superior officer arrived. The snipers took aim at him, while Taegu simultaneously aimed at Director O. The superior calmly surveyed the area. He had predicted Director O would send people to kill him and had already prepared countermeasures. The assassins he arranged had replaced her snipers. During their confrontation, he acknowledged Director O's contributions as a national intelligence agent, but he exposed her true identity. She was once the assassin known as Fang. By all rights, Director O should have been eliminated long ago, but she was still useful. He hated Taiel, but rather than waste her resentment, he intended to use Director O to eliminate him. As they argued, Yura reached the rooftop, knocked out one of the assassins, and pointed her gun at the superior. Director O expressed her bitterness. She and the other children of the Alliance were victims of the nation, sacrificing everything, believing they were serving their country, only to be abandoned and scheduled for execution. The superior replied shamelessly. Director O was alive, thriving, and valued, yet she dared to blame the nation? He slowly raised his hand, signaling the rooftop assassins to fire. A gunshot rang out, but it wasn't Director O who was hit. Yura looked around in shock and saw that the person who had been shot was Taegu. The superior gave a second kill order. Another shot fired. Minister O still wasn't hit. Yura had already eliminated the assassin. Realizing the situation was spiraling out of control, the superior immediately pulled out his gun and fired multiple shots at Minister O. Yura provided cover fire from a distance, helping Minister O escape. Minister O was hit several times, but fortunately her injuries weren't fatal. The superior fled under suppressive fire. Yura looked toward the opposite rooftop. Taegu had vanished. She had no time to be shocked and rushed downstairs to rescue Minister O. Meanwhile, Yura bandaged Minister O's wounds. Minister O urged her to stop now. After this incident, the superior would surely know she had fired from the shadows. Yura wasn't strong enough to face him head-on. She should protect herself. But Yura refused to retreat. She already had a plan. Later, Minister O woke up at home and saw that Yura had cooked porridge for him. He felt a warmth he hadn't felt in years, unaware that a shadowy figure was lurking in the house. Meanwhile, Taiel returned to the country in full military uniform, stepping proudly onto his homeland. Dohun discovered the exact time and location of his arrival and headed to the port. The port had only one exit. Taiel would definitely appear on camera. Following this clue, Dohun quickly locked on to Taiel's license plate. Taiel, after receiving the order to kill Taegu, drove to the villa where Taegu was hiding.
Taigu, wounded and in pain, was treating his gunshot injuries. Seeing him, Taiel felt no pity at all. Taiel coldly admitted he was the one who ordered the massacre at the base years ago. He showed no remorse, claiming everything was for the good of the country. Now he wanted to regain his honor and be decorated, meaning he had to eliminate everyone who knew the truth, not just Taigu, but Director O and Yura as well. Just as Taiel raised his gun to kill Taigu, Dohun arrived just in time. He fired a shot disrupting Taiel's aim and knocked him unconscious. Taigu urgently told Dohun that Yura was in danger. She was the final target. Terrified, Dohun rushed to find her. At that moment, Yura had gone alone to a certain location and was already engaged in a gunfight.
The firefight intensified. Yura was pinned down by heavy gunfire and hid under a table, unable to move. Fortunately, Dohun had received advance intelligence. The organization's next target was Yura, so he arrived just in time to rescue her. Dohun shielded Yura as they dodged bullets together. But one of Dohun's colleagues was shot, and the situation became critical. He needed immediate medical attention. With no other choice, Dohun and Yura stood up and broke through the front line. The special agent couple fought their way out, reversed the tide after a fierce battle, and successfully transported their injured colleague to the hospital. Inside the villa, Taiel had already been knocked unconscious by Dohun. Taigu seized the opportunity to tie him up, then contacted Director O, informing her that Taiel was in his custody. Director O rushed over immediately. Earlier, assassins had infiltrated Director O's home. One approached her bedside silently, but Director O was prepared. She overpowered and killed the intruder. Taigu handed Taiel over to Director O, letting her deal with him as she saw fit. Taigu was tired of everything and just wanted to leave. Director O entered the room and saw the bound Taiel. Memories of the base surged back. Overwhelmed with emotion, she took Taiel away. On the way, she contacted her superior. She said she had evidence proving that the mastermind behind MGD was her own bureau chief. She requested permission to personally handle Taiel, but the superior reminded her that her mission was already over. Director O brought Taiel back and interrogated him alone, asking why he had returned to Korea. Taiel responded self-righteously, saying he wanted to defend his dignity. But Director O ruthlessly exposed the truth. The so-called national narrative was a lie. The country did not need Taiel. The country would never acknowledge people like him. All agents, including Taiel, had merely been tools. Now MGD was hunting down agents nationwide to erase their existence and cover up the past. Remembering everything that happened, Director O grew furious and demanded to know how Taiel could murder the organization's children so mercilessly. Taiel, blinded by patriotic delusion, insisted that the nation was his honor and following orders was his duty. After the interrogation, Director O submitted all evidence to higher authorities. She believed the bureau chief wouldn't dare launch reckless assassinations and that punishment would come through official channels, but things did not unfold as she had hoped. After sending the documents, she repeatedly inquired about Taiel's handling, but received no response. Dohun disagreed with Director O's approach. He planned to deal with the bureau chief his own way. He ordered someone to investigate the chief's daily schedule. Meanwhile, after Director O left, Taiel kept replaying her words that the country no longer needed him, and he had always been a pawn. Taiel refused to believe it, but the words haunted him until he spiraled into madness. He summoned the bureau chief, demanding an explanation. Instead, 2 bullets ended his life instantly. Taiel died still believing in the country, unaware of the truth even in his final moment. His true identity had been the warrior. Soon, Director O learned Taiel had been shot dead.
The killer was clearly someone within the intelligence organization. This made her even more bitter. This was how the upper ranks chose to handle things. She ordered surveillance on the bureau chief's subordinates. A senior official called the bureau chief, scolding him for going too far. His identity had now been exposed. He was ordered to go into hiding in Thailand and wait for the situation to cool down. Dohun learned that the bureau chief had a lunch meeting that day, so he armed himself and waited outside the restaurant. But the chief never appeared. His plans had changed, and the person he was supposed to meet left in a hurry. Soon after Dohun received intel, the bureau chief had canceled all upcoming engagements. Confused, Dohun contacted Director O and learned the chief had just been stripped of all authority, and Taiel had already been eliminated. This meant someone higher than the bureau chief was involved. The bureau chief was only a pawn in a much larger scheme.
Director O was powerless. She admitted defeat. But Dohun refused to back down. Director O gave him one last lead. The bureau chief was preparing to flee the country through a private route. As Dohun began moving, he received secretly taken photos of Yura and his family. Realizing his family was in danger, he immediately understood the warning. The Mastermind ordered him to stop everything, or his family would pay the price. Staring at the photos, Dohun had no choice. For his family's safety, he backed down. After this ordeal, Dohun agreed with Director O. Someone far above them was pulling the strings. Burdened and distressed, he couldn't bring himself to tell Yura the truth. Instead, he selectively told her that everything had been handled and the villains would be punished. Exhausted, Dohun told Yura he wanted to resign. She agreed without hesitation. Meanwhile, Tegu arrived in Thailand and continued working with Director O. The bureau chief had already made it to Thailand. He moved quickly, gaining control of the organization faster than anyone expected. To counter the chief's growing power, Director O wanted Dohun back in action. She returned his resignation letter and asked him to reconsider. Coincidentally, Yura had arranged to relocate her adoptive parents' remains. Hearing this, Dohun's father bought them plane tickets and urged the couple to visit the graves. Soon after, Yura and Dohun traveled to Thailand to pay their respects. Being there felt like returning to their youthful days when they first met. For a moment, they forgot their troubles and simply enjoyed being together. They didn't realize Tegu was in the same town. At one point, they even walked right past him. What they also didn't know was that while Tegu walked down the street, a tall woman silently approached him. In the next instant, he was assassinated without a sound. Meanwhile, in Thailand, Yura and Dohun rediscovered the feeling of being in love. The couple enjoyed their rare moments of peace. Despite troubling news still reaching them from home, at least for now, they were happy.
End of the series. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share with friends, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more series.